Perfect.
So,
Well, I
okay,
have a sign saying we're live.
we are.
Yay!
Yay!
Happy Wednesday, 6 o'clock. Here we are in Dockside. I was saying I have the Christmas carols on in the background, but if you can't hear them, then hopefully it will be being broadcast in Facebook and be distracting.
Well, that's not such a bad thing to be distracted
No, it's not.
by.
There could be worse, which is one of the reasons why I'm so excited. And you and I were just starting to talk about it. And I said, we have to stop talking because we have to go live so we can talk about it. So for those of you that have joined Catherine and I on our journeys, plural, since we launched Sage almost 2 years ago, I met Catherine January 2022 because Teresa, who's a part of our community, introduced me to a workshop that Catherine was doing on vision maps. And I thought, I know how to do a vision board. This will be a fun way to start out the year. And I like Teresa. We'll spend some time together. And I end up meeting Catherine, who, that whole thing happened. But what I'm here to tell you is what I was just saying to Catherine. I've been alluding to the fact that I have been, reading Napoleon Hill for the first time in my life. I'm 52 years old. This was not part of my upbringing. I was taught, to think positively and be kind and grateful, but not necessarily to the degree that a lot of us now in Dockside and in Sage Navigation are familiar with. So I have so many things I want to talk about. I'll try to stay focused. One of which is I learned what it meant to set one singular goal, just one goal. I had my goal card, I had my vision map, and it was all centered on, at the time, January 2022, we had just sold our home of 17 years because we were going to be building a house in the country. We had property because my husband and I had set a goal. We wanted to live in a country house. We wanted to live in the country, design our dream home. It was going to be our forever home. That's what we were doing. I had already talked to an architect. We had started dabbling in it, but it was really, I made that commitment. January 2022, we are doing this. This is happening.
You were very busy with, I would say, many a time, you'd say, I'll have to get back to you. We're meeting the architect.
Yeah.
So you were really doing it.
We were making, I won't use the actual amount that we gave our architect, but we paid him our first installment for our drawings. So this whole thing was happening. We were building a country house. But what's interesting to note is that was not what my chief aim, is that right? I still stumble over this one. What does he call it?
Napoleon Hill calls it a chief definite purpose.
But he uses aim at one point, and I'll find it in the
and he does definiteness of purpose, and he uses your chief aim.
Aim, which, and also, Catherine, you taught me very early during that vision mapping that you can multitask, but you can't multi-goal. So, exactly. And I came into that vision mapping January 2022, and I know I talked about this. I said, I have so many goals. I'm a very goal-oriented person, and I have a lot that I want to do. How am I supposed to decide on just one? And you said, just decide, pick one. So I said, okay, I'm going to pick, I want to live in a country house. So that was what I did.
And I want to stop for all of you in here. Think about, she wanted to live. That was her goal. But imagine all the benefits, because her whole family are on the journey. She didn't build something against anybody, but she stayed focused for the whole of the family, going after a dream she shared with people.
That's right. So I will use so many things that I learned, one of which was you can't multi-goal. So I picked the one goal and I focused it, and I made that my chief definite aim. It was so that was one. The other one, you taught me don't multi-goal. So I did that. The other one was you have to pick a goal that, and you'll use the words better than me, but I didn't want to go on a journey without my family. So it wasn't a goal that had conflicts, right? Is that the word that you use? Yeah.
No contradictions.
Right.
No distractions and no conflicts.
So don't get me started on distractions, but there were definitely, I realized, but as we were going through the journey, because we thought we were building a house. And so that was where we were building this house. We were giving money to an architect. We were drawing. I was on Pinterest looking at different things. We were walking the property, trying to figure out where the well might go. There was all of this stuff that was happening.
And I want to stop you and share this.
Okay.
When she's sharing this, when she started on her journey, she did not do it easily. For all of you sit and say, oh yeah, that was easy. I watched that. It was like every step of the way, she questioned, she validated, she wanted to be certain. She did the work. Like
it was a lot of work.
The thing.
Exactly. And I want to just say also, it's not, I don't want anybody to think that my husband and I are just like throwing money around, as if it's nothing. Like, we're talking about our life savings. And we were very, cognizant of the investment that we were making. This was a big deal. And so talk about obstacles first,
So the first thing, I need to get back to what she did. We started with create. So she did the first C, she created.
Yeah.
And then she made decisions continually, which then gives you the confidence.
Right.
Okay. Because we always talk about that. This is real. She's sharing the process, confidence. And then as she took more steps, she started to gain more courage. Yeah. Now, we won't go to the steps that took it away a little bit yet, but she's building the courage. She's creating, she's choosing, but she committed.
I did. And so the courage, I want to say that courage and commit thing, because once I said, we're doing this, and like, I made sure my husband was on board, my kids all knew, and I'm like, this is happening with it. I do have a gift, and I'm going to say that because I am very close to my sisters, and my sisters are not necessarily exactly like me, but and my husband knows this about me. I truly believe if I want something to happen, I will figure out a way to make it happen. Sometimes to people's detriment, to my detriment even, but I am very determined. And if I make a commitment, I do have the courage to make that happen. I don't think everybody is wired that way. I think other people require some time to find that confidence. But for me, once I was like, we're doing this, I had the confidence. But what was interesting was when we started having obstacles in building the house, and I'm talking about land transfers and property lines with the with the townships, our property basically was on 2 different township lines, applications to these, government bodies and having to get permissions and all of these things. Oh my goodness. Like, there were a lot of obstacles. And I just kept saying, we just have to find a way to solve these problems. And we would that obstacle got solved, we'd move forward every day, a tiny step. But what was really interesting was when distractions came, and I know we only have a certain amount of time. Distractions, Karine. I could talk about distractions for forever, because how do you know when a distraction is more than just a distraction, meaning like it's taking your attention away, but no, get back and focus instead of, well, what if you are supposed to go in this direction? And maybe that is the path you're supposed to take. So there I had no confidence. I did not know 100% whether or not, when you came to a fork in the road, or if there was an obstacle in front of you, was that because you were supposed to veer off this way, or were you supposed to get around the obstacle and keep going in that path that you thought you were on? So really, we're going to write a book about this. I know we are. So anyways, the other thing that was happening, and I want to talk about this with you, Karine, and I kept saying in the group, in our community, I have a goal. And I did at times say, it's a country house. Like, I'm making this house happen, maybe more so in our workshops. I don't know how vocal I was about
more in the workshops.
But I was just saying to you, as a writer, I know it's sort of a known fact. You don't say, I'm writing a book, because it's kind of like the kiss of death. When you say I'm writing a book, chances are you're never going to finish your book. It's kind of like known throughout the industry. So I was saying that I wasn't sure if I should be sharing and like screaming from the rooftops, I'm going to be living in the country. I'm building a country house, or my goal is to live in the country. Interesting, because I didn't know, but my gut told me, you don't really tell people. And you were saying that that is what Napoleon Hill's message was.
The only people you share your goal with is your actual mastermind, your team, your mastermind, people that you're looking for solutions with. They know your goal, they're part of it. They're in,
Yeah.
you know, they're people supporting you on the good days, the bad days. They are for you. Now, the people you love the most may want to be for you, but they won't be because they don't understand. But in Karine's case, she has a community and book club that you had.
Yeah, I did. I counted on people.
You had,
Yeah.
well, you collaborated. You had the right people. You didn't talk to the people and spread your thing where people would maybe discourage you. No. But you talked to your partner, your husband, you know, the person that's in this journey with you, because I'm sure if you were distracted, he surely had his own. Like the two of you were on that journey together.
It was quite a team bonding thing, I'll be honest with you, with my husband and I. Like, just sorry, I'll let you finish.
No, I'm going to say the benefits come for everybody involved. Everybody's part of the journey. So to get back to what you said, because I always go off track that way.
Thank you.
You only share the goal with your select few mastermind. The minute you know that the person can't handle your goal or isn't on your team or will bring you all the reasons you can't do it, protect yourself. Napoleon Hill says you're not supposed to share your goal because there's two things that happen. One thing's going to happen, you're going to share your goal with somebody and maybe they'll copy what you're doing. That's what Napoleon Hill shares.
Sure, especially, I mean, to speak to entrepreneurs and people that are developing. I mean, nobody's going to steal my house, but actually
they could. Well, let's say two people. You talk to a friend that wants a country house and you tell them, I found the house.
No, I was just about to say, so I haven't even gotten to the end of my story, but yeah, we didn't.
Let's get to that story.
But then there you go. That could have happened.
And then the other are the people that are going to make you doubt it. And there's going to be enough things happen to make you doubt. So you don't need either of those. So don't share it.
I did have, so that did happen. That was one of the distractions we had, you know, just even to your point, you know, family members who love us, obviously, you know, there's a lot of love in our family. We're very fortunate, but there's a lot of opinions, a lot of opinions that are a distraction, frankly, because they make you stop and think, you know, maybe that is a good idea, or maybe I should have considered that, or maybe that's something we need to think about or talk about, or maybe we shouldn't do it, but maybe. So the big thing for us was timing. When we were building the house, I was pushing to break the ground when we thought we were getting close to building, because I'm like, the winter's coming, we can't do, you know, certain. So there was always like a seasonality thing pushing me along my way. And then I had people pushing back saying, no, you can't do that. And I'm like, really? Because I'm pretty sure I can. I'll find a way. And anyways, it just goes back to the community here with Sage and Dockside. You know, I don't like teasing people. I don't like saying, oh, I'm 3 feet from gold, but I can't really share with you what it was. But the long story short was, in August, we out of the blue got a curveball, a distraction, frankly. I just saw this lovely country house that had been put up for sale close to where we live. And I had passed it 1,000 times growing up. In fact, in grade 1, I lived down the road from here. It was an equestrian farm. I remember the horses because my father was an equestrian farmer. Anyways, it was one of those like, oh, maybe I have dabbled. I'll be honest with you. I have gone with some agents of ours that we know that are friends and looked at houses just thinking like, well, maybe we should buy the building of the house was taking so long and COVID had hit and everything. I'm like, maybe just buy a house. So once in a while I did. And then my husband's never interested in looking at houses. I love looking at houses. I don't want to waste an agent's time, but I'll take it. Anyways, he came and he fell in love with this country house, this farmhouse, this, you know, it's on 3 acres. And suddenly in August, our whole idea of what we thought we were doing to reach our goal came to a stall, like a complete halt. And we thought,
you're not supposed to know how. You're not supposed to know how.
I thought I knew how. I thought I knew exactly how. I thought I'm building a house with an architect. I'm meeting with him, you know, monthly to go over the plans, to make these revisions, to give him more money, to do all these things. And then suddenly out of the blue, something else comes along. My husband falls in love. I start to go, well, you know what? Maybe let's think about it. And then we put in an offer. This is where all the distractions and obstacles. And honestly, it was every single day. There were tears. I'm not joking. There were tears things, red tape, like all these obstacles. It was so hard, Catherine, to keep that positive. You were there with me, to keep that positive mentality. Every day something would come up, then we were afraid. It made us frightened that we were going to lose the house. Like, it was a stress I had not felt in a very long, I don't even know.
I think there was one moment you felt, and the one I remember the most is you weren't sharing all you didn't bring your negative drama.
No, and there was so much family stuff.
But you didn't. But what you did was you had a hurt in your eyes that you couldn't hide. And one day, before we went live, I remember, and you had an aha moment that you actually had to get off. I got to get off. I got to go see my husband now. I've got to figure something out. Something happened that you just, and you know what? That is the mastermind at work. It didn't come, it came from somewhere. It came from your subconscious to infinite intelligence, as Napoleon Hill teaches, and back to you with the solution. In the matter of like this, I watched you go like, what the heck just happened?
I gotta go. I said, I gotta
go. That was it. I said, okay, but I'm okay. You said, I'm good. Okay. I now know.
I am talking about manifestations, affirmations, meditations, like all of those things that we talked about that I am so it's not ingrained in me. I'm talking about making a physical effort every day. I found a podcast, that I could listen to in the car that was about keeping a positive mentality, just understanding that the universe is going to, work the way that it's supposed to, and things are happening. And then I found this meditation, a guided meditation on YouTube that I would listen to while I walked my dog every morning. And it was about, imagine yourself achieving your goal. What does that feel like? What does that mean to your loved ones? So I would go for walks with my dog with my headphones on, and it would be like picturing us living in this house. I'm in this house now. You have anyways. One thing I want to say is, before I forget, the only thing I can compare this stress to is infertility. So for those of us that have gone through infertility, and you understand that you have a goal and you are trying so hard to achieve something, and I'm not belittling infertility, guys. It was absolutely the hardest thing I ever experienced. And I know it's possibly the worst and most difficult thing for any woman to experience. So I am not in any way diminishing that. But what I was going through, what we were going through, the sense of loss, the obstacles that were coming our way, other things getting in our way, the roller coaster of like, things are going really well. Oh my God, at the bottom just fell out again. Now what do we do? Like, that type of emotional roller coaster was unbelievable. And I really mean that. Like, money couldn't solve our problem. There weren't people talking about the team that, our mastermind, the architect that I kind of thought was the one that was making. That wasn't the road we took anymore. So suddenly the people that I thought were going to be around me, helping me achieve this goal, that changed. Like, it was really interesting now.
Well, you know what was interesting is you started, I call as a newbie, you started with, you had a lot of questions. You were very curious, but you weren't like
doubted. I just wanted to learn. It.
You were just like, you're going to have to prove this works to me. Like, I'm not just buying, I'm not buying the snow that the Eskimos are selling out in Iceland. I can make snow right here in Montreal here. So
Listen, were like, I'm a journalist. I did my research when even with Napoleon Hill, I listened to a podcast of somebody who was like, this is why there are all these suckers that buy the Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich book. Here's why here's how, I don't like using the STUPID word, but here's how ignorant they all are. And here's all of these things and all this stuff. And I thought, oh my goodness, there's a lot of opinions out there, and I need to learn, and I need to figure this out for myself. And this journey has taught me, and I've said it 1,000 times, like, what we've been talking about, it works. Like, it actually works. I am a firm believer. I am not saying I'm converted because I wasn't anywhere before. I just didn't know that you can apply these theories that have been around for hundreds of years and use them to get to what you're reaching for. I'm not saying you're going to achieve every goal you want. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they do. What these tools are, they do work.
And I would add that there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of things with it. And they work in partnerships.
Yeah.
They work when you've got
Yes.
somebody with you.
Yes.
Have you done this yet? Have you done that yet? Do you have a question? And there's an open door, and the person you're talking to,
Yeah.
like if you're talking to Karine, she's done it, so she knows it. So whoever's doing it, it's like, I remember going for somebody said they wanted to help me in business. So I had to ask them, have you ever owned a business?
Right.
Have you opened a
I remember,
business?
yeah, you
Your
telling me
rent
this.
went up by 96%. Have you rent? What did you do? Have you almost lost everything? Have you started with nothing? What is your experience? Oh, you want to talk to me about relationships, and there's no cookie cutter for everybody, but there's nothing life. You're never going to forget what you did to get to where you are.
Right. No.
So if
And
somebody comes and says to you, I really want a house, you're going to say, well, you know what? Have a dream, but be flexible, because you never know. You're going to know. You know about fertility, you lived it. I know about fertility, I lived it.
For sure.
You know, we know about losing our parent to dementia or something. Why? I'm not trying to teach people how to fix this.
No,
there are too many people.
And I can't tell you what's going to happen to you. I can't tell you.
No.
I can definitely relate. But like, I know on that note,
I love that you said that.
Very clear about the 3 feet from gold thing quickly, because, you know, when we decided to throw in the towel and put an offer in on this house, I was like, we're 3 feet from gold. We've almost got the country house. We're almost there. And then all of this stuff, all these obstacles with the banks, with the seller, with the agent, with like every day was something I was like, why is this happening?
So do you know what? The lesson with that, Karine,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know whether I mentioned it. I just thought, it's like, are you sure you want that?
Oh, I am telling you, I asked myself all the time. I said to because Jay and I were under a tremendous, like every day we woke up, I understand. I mean, we both know that when infertility wreaks havoc on a marriage, like it is a very challenging thing to go through as a couple. This type of stress where every single day we were thrown a curveball it was literally like dodging bullets. And we had to be a team. We had to make sure we were making decisions together. Listen, I love my husband, but I'm not going to say our marriage is 100% perfect. Like we all, you know, we're all individuals.
I'd like to meet that relationship.
Yeah, me too. Because I don't believe it, to be honest with you, but that's between you and I.
No, and everybody.
But I will say, so I'm talking about, so our closing date, just so everybody understands, was November 30th. That was a week ago. That was last week. On November 29th, we still did not have our financing signed off on because of a loop. It's such a long story with a different bank, not even our bank. So on November 29th, I went to bed not knowing if we were going to lose $25,000, which was the deposit handed over, and the house, or whether we were going to find out that the finance, if we got the, you know, the green light, everything's in order. Even when we found out on November 30th and the lawyers called to say, come in and sign the papers, I still didn't believe it. Even when the bank called us and said, everything has been transferred, the money has been exchanged, the house is yours, I didn't believe it. I said, until I have the code to the drop box on the front of that house, and I know it is now my house, I won't. And it took, that's what I mean. That's how hard it was. It was the 3 feet from gold. That signpost is invisible. You don't know where that.
And it's not 3. It's 3. And then it's like 2 feet 9.
And you're like, not there yet. And that's where I think people give up. Catherine, I'm telling you, I sobbed. I said to Jay, I don't know if it's worth it. It's a great house, but we'll find another house, like, or we'll go back to building. We'll do what we had to set out in the first place. It was that hard. I'm just saying that's where I learned.
And today, where are you?
I am sitting in my new farmhouse. I have a 3-acre hobby farm in our Northumberland County. And I have never, oh golly, I've just never felt this way before. Because of how hard we had to work to make it happen, I think it is so rewarding, and
So,
it's chaos. I
Karine,
won't show you what
here's
goes
the beauty.
on.
Here's the thing. We were just talking about that. I don't know who I was talking to. I just said, oh, today when we were working on our silent project,
Mhm.
um, there's some really big news going to happen within 9 months from
See, now
now.
we're teasing again.
That's okay. That's the way it works. I hope that
That's how it
people can
works.
tease me. Let me tease me. Let me know that you're in the same position. Go on the journey. Have something you want big enough that you can't get it today.
That's something else I learned. Ask for a lot.
Ask for a lot and you can get it. And so the thing is, it's going on the journey. And we were talking about that today, just how you put it out there and you take your steps and you go, and you're not gonna know how, and you're gonna get challenged, and just keep moving. Just
Yeah.
keep moving. And
That was the thing. Every single day we were like, what's one thing we can do today? What's one thing we can, and it was very small things even. It was, I cleared out my closet. I think I told you this one day. I was like, I'm going to purge my closet and only keep clothes that I would need if I lived on a farmhouse.
you did. And you went all the way. But here's the thing. Now you've done that. And this is the thing people know. So when you started out, you said, but I have all these things I want to do. And I said, just pick one. So guess what? The beauty once you reach that one is you get to pick another one.
But
So when you get
I'm
really good at this,
I am taking a mental break.
a mental break. Yeah, well, you got December. It's a perfect time for mental break.
I'm going to set my goals in January. We'll be talking. Trust me. My goal, one
Your
singular goal.
So community, all of you, thank you. Thank you for being part
Thank you
of
for being on
Karine's
my
journey.
journey. Seriously, like I couldn't have done it without everybody here. This is my whole point. Sorry, going back to the original, it works. This is my point. I could not have done it if it wasn't for this community, for the people I've met through you, through Sage. This is the value of all of the things that we talk about. And I can't be the only one that has gained. I can't.
Well, the other thing is you borrow. Sometimes you don't have confidence or you get distracted, but you borrow the people that are on the same journey as you, not like-minded, they're very different, but they're on the same journey. So they know.
I want people to know it is going to be one of my chief purposes is to help people understand that you can do it. You can. That's it.
Well, on that note,
but
we'll
it's
talk
possible.
to you soon.
Okay, we gotta
go. Going on. Take care.
Hey, bye everybody. Thank you.
Have fun. Thanks. Bye.